All right, folks. D-Roy Cruz here, your life applications officer, the original LG. I'm gonna start calling myself that on this channel instead of calling myself your life applications officer. That's for my other two channels. I'm gonna start calling myself the original LG. What is the original LG? The original little guy. That's what LG stands for. Little guy. I'm the original. I'm the original 5'3". Okay, that everybody can't even see. Okay, you don't even see me coming. Okay. Anyway, um, and since 5'3" people aren't very popular and well respected in the Philippines, okay, I'm gonna say what I got to say. Okay, they gonna definitely use me for some money when I show up for the Philippines, cause it sure ain't my height. Okay, they sure ain't getting nothing out of my height. Okay, what do I hear the Philippine women say? Oh, he's so tall. They ain't gonna say that about me. Okay, they're gonna be looking down at me. They're gonna say, oh, look, what is it? Like, what? Is there a box to put it in? You know. Anyway, the Filipina Pea here. The Filipina Pea here. Hello, it's the Filipina Pea here. Okay. Filipina Pea here wants to go on this gospel of connecting people to the Philippines. She wants to invite everybody to paradise. I remember years ago, people wanted to invite everybody to Hawaii. I think the Philippines and Hawaii have that in common as far as heat and tropicalness. They have that in common as far as island living. Matter of fact, a lot of Filipinas that have had foreigner boyfriends that took them to Hawaii. They say that Hawaii is the only way they would leave the Philippines and live somewhere else is Hawaii, not only because Hawaii is very similar to the Philippines as far as weather and weather disasters and stuff like that, and not only that, but the people are islanders just like in the Philippines. The people are islanders, and there's different islands, there's multiple islands. Everything's not all about the most popular islands. There's islands that you need to visit. Even if you're just going there to see the monkeys, there's islands you need to visit. But also, the culture is different. The women are traditional women, and they're not caught up. Even in Hawaii, they're not caught up in the American BS. Now, she's talking to these ladies and maybe one guy who thought it was kind of cute, or she thought it was kind of cute, for him to look for metal coming out of her chest with his metal detector. This is where I lose attraction. My feelings for the Filipina Pea are starting to diminish. Like, I don't really take her as serious as I did when I first met her. Like, when I first seen her first video, and I'm just now finding out that she was way younger back then. She's been doing this for some time now. When I first seen her first video, and I listened to her talk, I was like, oh my God. Then I got to the second, the third, the fourth. Wait a minute, hold up. Why are we talking? Why? When she got to talking about sex, I had to catch myself. And so, are you going? So, what are you, Miss P? Are you prostituting yourself? Like, are you trying to be? What is the goal of your gospel? What is the goal of your ministry to the Philippines? At one point, you're talking about how easy it is for men to come there and get laid. But then you want to put men down for coming there with their zippers open But at the same time, you want to say, oh, you're going to get love, whether it's just a one night stand or whether you get married. Some woman will grab you and want to marry you the minute you get off the plane, you know. That kind of stuff. And then, you know, like, before I forget, like, I don't get I don't get why people talk about sex in public. Like, sex is between a man and his wife. Like, who goes and talks about poop? Like, when you get off the toilet, you don't go back to the dinner table and say, hey, you know what? The apple cider vinegar is working. I just had a poop and it was all apple cider vinegar. It really cleaned me out. You know, you don't do that. But she's getting on here talking about, hey, how many of you agree with oral sex? And she's not the only one that does that. A number of these Philippines are saying this, these Filipinas. Or, now, that girl right there is very pretty. And she's not even American. Now, that is a girl right there. And I'm pretty sure she don't look like, I think she said she's from Russia, I think. I watched this in its entirety, believe it or not. I think she said she's from Russia. That's some hot Russian hair. You can see she's got melanation in her skin. She is very pretty. I might actually turn down a Filipina for her. She is, actually, she looks like she has some Asian in her. She looks like she's half Asian and half white. Her eyes and the eyebrows. The head shape, the muscle blushes in her face, the lips. She looks like she could be Asian, part Asian anyway. But I think she said she's from Russia. Anyway, I don't understand why. Number one, there's a bunch of things I don't understand. I want to discuss. I don't understand, first of all, how you talk about sex as a Christian. As a Christian, because if you've had sex, if you've ever had an orgasm as a woman, if you've ever had more than one partner, help me, Lord, how do you talk about sex? That's it. I just answered my own question. There's two reasons why you talk about sex in public. Because it's never been personal between you and the people you slept with. It's never really been personal. Marriage is personal. It's never been personal enough. It might have been personal a little bit, but it hasn't been personal enough. Why? Because you keep breaking up with guys or breaking up with girls and moving on to the next. Okay? You have a body count. And so therefore, it's easy to talk about sex because you're having sex. Instead of having sex as the best thing that you give your husband or the best thing that you give your wife, instead of having sex in that capacity, you're having sex as something that men and women do. And sex is not something that men and women do. Going to the beach and the women sit there and get suntans while the men surf, that might be something that men and women do, and I got something to say about that too. But having sex is all about consummating your marriage. I've said this in a dozen videos. If you're not married, what are you consummating? You're consummating sexual promiscuousness, because you know you're going to break up with this guy the minute you have an argument, the minute y'all don't get along about something. You're not going to fix it. You're going to break up and move to the next person. And therefore, it makes it easy for you, like, well, you've never had real great sex, because sex is supposed to make you feel like, or you're supposed to feel like about the person that you're with, that you can make up and go back to having great sex. You can forgive each other and go back to having great sex. You can get along. Now, this woman right here, when you go to watching this video, this woman right here, she's obviously a Christian. As you can see, she got her chest covered up. Of course, I don't agree with the belly button showing. But she got her chest covered up where most of the women there don't. And she's Actually, she's probably not even on the beach. She's somewhere near the beach, enjoying other things that are glorious about the beach. Um, the name of the video is "Who's Up? What's Up with Western Women?" And you need to go to her channel because she did the same thing with men. Where she kind of ticked me off with the men was she took a picture of herself and wanted to know if the men found her attractive. She took a picture of herself, and it wasn't a picture of herself. It was a picture of herself in the winter when she was lighter skinned. She was lighter skinned in the photo, and she was a few years younger. That's not confidence. That's low self-esteem. Okay. And she went around showing it to these guys, and she acted like she's a little ticked off. Watch this guy go to metal scanning her chest. Well, I think she encouraged him to do it though. But she does stuff like this. Okay, and then she wonders why all the men in the comment section got one thing on their mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, let me get back to it. Okay, I think that the reason why people talk about sex publicly so much, the reason why there's a such thing, the reason why you separate the sex therapist from the marriage counselor. So yes, a marriage counselor and a sex therapist should be the same person. Okay, because if you're dealing with a married couple, then you're dealing with something totally different than you're dealing with everybody else. Okay, you'll see here in a second. She gets really weird. I don't get the point of that. I really don't. I used to like be infatuated with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But the more and more she is coming up. Now this girl right here looks really good in her bikini. Even though she got a little belly fat there. Got the little belly sticking out there like she already has kids, and that. But she looks like she worked out to fit into that bikini. Now she looks good in her bikini. Okay. Where the other girls, they just look like they should put some clothes on. She actually looks good in her bikini. And I remember years ago, coming up as a child, I learned that like when the church, I'm Church of God Ministries, okay, the church did not mix women's swim time because women are taking their clothes off. They did not mix it with men's swim time. Like the men and the women swam separately. Like if the men would go swimming first, and then they would leave, and the women would take over. Okay. And the only people that got to see both swim were, medical staff and security staff. But, you didn't go, because like even in high school, a lot of guys didn't get in the water because they were too busy watching the women get in the water. And so they felt it was a distraction because because the guys didn't want to embarrass themselves in front of the women doing sports and stuff like that. And if a guy got in the water and he didn't swim that well, it was very embarrassing for him in front of women and all that kind of stuff. So they would separate. Even in a secular high school, they separated, not high school, middle school. They separated the boys from the girls when it came to the swim class. And then when the boys would get in the water, like football players and that, all they wanted to do was put their hands on the girls, which that should be off limits to you, even in school. Like, they love to pick the women up and slam them in the water and all like that. Some women got hurt. Some women felt sexually assaulted. They felt like, this guy was overstepping his bounds. So they ended up separating, again, women's swimming from men's swimming. Because any place where a woman is showing her skin, you're dealing with a sacredness that needs to be protected. I'm not surprised at a bunch of women, okay, walking around showing their goodies to 100,000 men a day. I'm not surprised that they want to be feminists. I'm really not surprised. Now, let me say this before I forget too. Traditional women, and this is what's going on in the Philippines. Traditional women look at a man as status, no matter what. A man's masculine role is status. If he's status for himself, he is the beauty of status. Okay? Even if, like in the Philippines, even if a woman has a good job, the man is the pillar of status. Whereas modern women look at a man as a tool for their sexual desire. This is why here in America, you know, it matters whether a man goes to the gym, or it matters whether a man is like 6 feet tall and built, or whether he's like me, 5'3" with a pot belly. Okay, small pot belly. That is, I've lost a lot of weight. Okay, it's important to a woman because why? There's nothing that he can do outside the bedroom other than money that will satisfy her. He cannot be romantic to her. She can act like he's being romantic, but he cannot, you know, romanticize her except for whatever her sexual desires are towards that man. Okay? Now, traditional women understand that a man is a status, and understand that a man replaces her father in the leadership in her life, whereas a modern woman feels that, like they say in this video, a man is given too much authority and he's given too much credit, and he needs to share half of that with the woman. But yet in America, and they're not telling her this, in America, the woman wants to take all of it. And the man is only good so that she's not gay. So that she has to sit down on a penis instead of another woman's vagina. Okay? Gay women don't have this problem. Gay women have more respect for men than regular modern women have for men. You know, I can go to a bus stop and be standing there minding my own business, and some gay girl, some dyke, will come up and talk to me. Why? Because she understands that she can't have it both ways. And she understands that if she doesn't have sexual desire for me, and she doesn't need my money, then she has all the utmost respect for me. Which in the Philippines, women, and I'm not saying all, but I'm saying these internet sensations, like Miss P here and all her internet sensation female friends, it's all about money. It's all about, you know, it's all about using a man's status to, and so this is the thing. You'll say, well, I'm a traditional woman, I'm not a feminist. Okay, you're traditional under the supervision of feminism. In other words, traditionalism is an act. Like, you're only traditionalism when it comes to having sex, as she will say. But there's no such thing as submissiveness in the bedroom. The woman can get on top as much as she wants. Okay? The woman can decide that she doesn't want to practice oral sex. She can decide that she doesn't like doggy style or whatever. You know, I'm just coming down to her level since she wants to go there. Okay? Women in the Philippines will practice traditionalism as an internet sensation. But underneath of it all, and these are the women that are always on the internet telling you, come to the Philippines, you'll find love in the Philippines, blah, 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 blah. And they're not speaking for themselves, they're speaking for other women. Because they themselves will see what you want to spend, and then they'll come back and break the news to you because they feel it wasn't enough. Now, I will say this, that women in the past were the same as the Filipina women. Now, the women in the Philippines, you could say that they're the last to become feminists. But they are becoming feminists day by day. Okay? As more and more women begin to make money and to be able to survive without a man, to live a better life than their fathers lived because of America or because of new laws in the Philippines or whatever, they are going to become feminists. Whereas back in the day, women, like I said, women felt that a man was status. Every woman has to have a man because the man is status and he is king. He is leader. Okay? And if you're not of the kingdom, then what are you? You're of the Badlands. You're of the bush. You're a villager. You're a civilian that is constantly unprotected because you're not of the kingdom. You're out there in the wilderness somewhere tending for yourself. And that's the way biblical women looked at it. Like, biblical women not only looked at it as a man, because biblical women felt that all women, unless they are barren, have children whether they want to have children or not. You know, a woman getting pregnant, the two biggest celebrations in a woman's life was when she got married, she found her man, okay? She found her king that's going to make her a queen. And then the other thing was when she had her first child. These were the two biggest celebrations in life. Matter of fact, back in the day, in the biblical days, they celebrated when they had children. And they celebrated when they found a husband. Sometimes these wedding ceremonies, okay, were like, they went on for days. Okay? Because you're going to be together forever. And there wasn't no bachelor party. Okay? There was women spending time with her female friends, her maidens, if you want to call them, depending on what culture, her maidens and her mid servants and that. You know, she was saying goodbye to some of her friends because why? She's going to throw everything away, even her family. Not throwing them away in a garbage, but she's going to leave them. Her brother, her sister, her mother, her father. She's going to leave them to be with her husband. So these celebrations went on for days and weeks because you were going to leave your mother and father and cling to your husband. And vice versa, as the scripture says, for the husband. Same thing for the man. And the man would go out and do things like go hunting. He didn't go out and have a bachelor party where he went and had all these women, okay, you know, sitting on his lap and doing kinky things with him because why? He's going to be married forever, so he needs to get all that out of his system. That's what a bachelor party is. Get all that out of your system because you're getting ready to be stuck for the rest of your life. No. He went out with the men. The women went with the women in those days. when these weddings would take forever, when these weddings were like weeks at a time. They would go with the women. The women would go with the women. The men would go with the men. The men would go and they would have feast, and they would go out and kill the fatted calf. They go out and do things that men do, because once he gets married, everything goes to his wife. It's no longer doing it for the guys anymore. It now goes to his wife. And he's not going to do all these different things that he did with the men, because everything he does now is a business opportunity. Okay, so that his wife gets to continue to be princess and queen. You see, you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so that's how it was done. But today, women have no clue what a husband actually is. A husband is not about your libido. He's not about flowers and roses on frickin' Valentine's Day. A husband is the king. He's the boss. If you don't want somebody telling you what to do, don't get married. If you don't want somebody squashing your whole Instagram account, don't get married. Okay? The reason why there's feminists today is because women have lost touch with what a man is, what a husband is. When you agree in marriage to a man, or you agree in marriage to a woman, say goodbye to your mama, your daddy, your friends, your girlfriends, your boyfriends. Okay, say goodbye to your single life. Say goodbye to all them boys that you had on the shelf that all wanted to turn with you. Say goodbye to that crap. You are now married, and the only people that you make new friends, and the only people that you get to be are trusted officers that are friends of the family. Their goal is to protect your marriage. Not to sleep with your wife, not try to flirt with your wife behind your back. Their goal is to protect your marriage. They don't get to have opportunities with your wife like they did back in the day. They don't get to have opportunities with your wife. They're not a friend with benefits. They don't get to have opportunities with your wife. Your wife don't get to sit on some man's lap. Your wife don't get to have some man rub her back, put his fingers through her hair and all like that. He's just a friend. He just violated your marriage. He just violated you being some man's fiance. Okay? If you want this man to be touching you all the time and hugging on you all the time and telling you how good you look in your bikini all the time and all this stuff, and you're happy with that, that should have been the man you married. You don't put him on the shelf and then marry somebody else and then get mad when your husband gets a little bit jealous because, whoa, my man, whoa, my man, that's my wife. No, you don't run your fingers through her hair. That's my spot. Whoa, I don't need you to tell my wife how good she looks in her bikini. I don't need you to tell my wife how good. I remember I told a friend of mine's wife how good she looked in a coat. And I didn't realize that he would be bothered by it. And I don't think he should have been. But I can understand where he's coming from. And she blushed, and I didn't expect her to do that either. But when I said, wow, you're looking pretty spiffy in that coat. I mean, and I looked at him and I said, you buy her that coat? He said, well, yes, I did. And I says, wow, she's looking pretty good in that coat. And it was a long trench coat. I mean, it was really, really, really like mafia looking. Like, it was the kind of coat that you wear if you're like the, I don't know what you want to say, the mob lady, the mob boss or something. It was a really hot coat, but she was wearing that coat. And I had to say something about it because it was really, really, really talking to me. And he says, "Oh, you want me to buy you one?" I said, "No, no, 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 man." And we all laughed, but he was letting me know he's a little bit concerned about me being, triggered by his wife's coat. I mean, it was really nice looking on her. And it wasn't nice looking on her physically. It just, you could tell the coat cost some money, and she was wearing it and sporting that coat like this is what she wears all the time. And I know this couple, they're good friends of mine, she doesn't wear coats like that all the time. So I had to say something. I don't know. In that case, he shouldn't have been concerned because I'm his friend and he knows good and well that coat was going to attract attention. Okay? But I can understand, nevertheless. And I wasn't going to argue with him. If you don't like me telling your wife she looks good in her cream colored coat, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Because I understand how he feels, But I also remember a friend of mine, we used to go to Rhode Island. And I don't understand beaches. Beaches to me are like outdoor bars, and I don't go to bars. But I know that a lot of men go to beaches just to peek at the women. And I know a lot of women go to beaches to pose. There's more people on the beach blocking the sun and you name it than there is there's more people on the beach blocking the sun than there is in the water. Most people that go to the beach don't go in there to go near the water. They may go and walk near the shore, to get the sand off their feet. And that's what I did too. When I used to go to Rhode Island with my friend. My friend would always want me to go to Rhode Island with him early because he wanted to get there before the women got there. Because again, we grew up where men and women do their swimming separate because we know some women look good, really, really look good in their bathing suits, and that's what they wore. They didn't really wear bikinis back in the day, especially church women. Church women don't really wear bikinis, they wear bathing suits, okay? And these women, some women really, really look good in their bathing suits. And there are women that look so good in their bathing suit that I had to say, Lord, forgive me. I did not expect her to look that good in her bathing suit. So, if you think a man is not looking and having a hard time, ladies, you're tripping. You don't understand a man and how we're wired. Just like I don't understand, I don't think she understands how he's wired. Letting him play this little, check her for, like, what are you doing? Like, what is that? What is that? If I caught my wife doing that, I would tell her, here, pack your bags, go back to the Philippines, and think about what you just did, and then give me a call, or don't call me at all. I don't care. I'm glad she's not married, because if I caught her doing that, I'd probably be ready to either slap her or slap him. What was the point in that? What was that? You know what I mean? But I understand, and I want to say this, and if the P is watching, I want her to hear me good. I understand that you have a show to perform. Okay? And everybody that is a celebrity of some sort, whether it's sports, whether it's movies, whether it's music, okay? You sacrifice some of your sacredness, and your husband and your wife loses, they have to put their sacred passions and their jealousies for you on the back burner because you are a celebrity. And so you need to appease to an audience as a female that's a sexy female, or you need to appease to an audience that's a male, just like, a sexy male. Just like sexy males can get up there on stage and rap about coochie and boobs and what I want to do to this bitch and all this kind of stuff, okay, and then go home to their wives. and they'll get on, you know, TV and talk about how wonderful a marriage they have, which I think they're lying. Okay, ain't no woman happy with no man that's writing songs about what he wants to do to a hundred hoes. You know what I mean? Hey, honey, look at this song that I wrote. Boy, this is gonna make us some money. Boy, you talk about bread on the table, baby. We got bread on the table now. I mean, like, come on, dude. You know, but I understand, P, that you are celebrity oriented. This is your dream. This is your goal. Who knows where she's going to be in the next 5 or 10 years? Maybe she'll finally go into modeling. Maybe she'll finally. Who knows? I'm trying to figure if she's 30 years old now, if she's over 30. When does she plan on having kids? When does she plan on settling down? You think a man wants you when you turn 50? You know what I mean? You're getting on in here and you're getting on here and you're trying to explain to men and women who haven't been to the Philippines yet. You're trying to explain to them the age gap. So explain to me, Miss P, when you not having children get to be 40 years old, when you not having children get to be 50 years old, when you turning 40 or 50 are not married yet, where's the age gap come in? Ain't no 60-year-old man gonna want you when he can go to your country and be with a 20-year-old. Which you encourage this garbage. And I really don't believe it's attraction. I believe anytime a woman, and then don't get me wrong, I had to rethink this, but I believe it goes both ways. I do believe that traditional women, and I do believe that women, and it says this in the Bible, I do believe that women have a tendency to go for the king and not care about the fact that the king is of a different tribe. The king is of a different God. The king is of a different, culture. See, I'm a king myself, so I would never ever trade my kingdom for a beautiful Filipina. Just like I'm an American, I will always be an American. Any woman that's going to hook up with me, she's going to be a Filipina American. She's going to be, a Chinese American or a I don't know, a Russian American or whatever. One thing she ain't going to be is, oh, come over here and the only way I'll be married to you is you decide to live here in the Philippines. No, I'm the king. I get to decide where we live. Okay? But I'm the king. So, and I'm going to be a king. Even if all women are feminists and even women in the Philippines are starting to get into the feminism, I'm going to be the king. And so I'm looking for the woman that will be my queen under my authority, under what God has given me. Okay? I like this woman here too. Sure, her idea about feminism and submissiveness was a lot better than, you see she's an older woman. You could look at the AMO look. She's covered up. She's wearing a bathing suit instead of a bikini. I'm gonna tell you something. Women, you can look at women almost and tell a feminist woman, especially here in America, you can tell a feminist woman from a traditional woman just by the way they dress a lot of times, a lot of modern women, there's always that tattoo, that stupid looking tattoo somewhere, and it's a stupid looking one. The one that she actually has close to her vagina or her butt cheeks that you can't see is probably the better looking tattoo. But the one that you usually see is the ugly one, and it's usually dark and it's covering up her beauty, and you know what I mean. But You don't see too many traditional women getting full body tattoos. You don't see too many traditional women always out and trying to pose. And I really believe that's what women do. As I was saying, my friend and I used to get to the beach early because he wanted to get out there before all the hot babes got on the beach and started exploiting themselves. Okay? Because he knows they're not getting in the water. Hey, if you get in the water, okay, and you're actually surfing, if you get in the water and you're actually doing water sports, that might be glorious to watch, even though you're wearing a bikini. And I'm not really interested in seeing all your meat, but that might be actually something to watch. But for you to just sit there and pose, in the hot sun, and if you're going to you can, it's just like this week, talking about women that just came into town that are brand new, and the guys are talking about what they look like. Oh, she's really pretty. She's really fine. And so you meet this woman, you're getting in your car or whatever, and you see this woman, you say, hello, how you doing today? And she looks at you like, oh, here you go. Well, and so it's kind of like the feminist women read a guy's mind and think that just because he says hello, he's got one thing on his mind, and that's where a lot of feminism come from. It's a misunderstanding of what a man is and how a man is wired, and it's a misunderstanding of a woman in herself, because a woman is dependent on a man to be a king. Women in the Philippines understand that, but as time goes on, they probably won't. But right now, they understand that. They understand that whether you're cheating on your man, okay, there's got to be a man at home. There's got to be a guy at least posing there to be a king, looking like there's a king in my life. They understand that in the Philippines until it gets to the point to where there's enough money in the Philippines for all these women to have good jobs. Then all of a sudden, it's going to be like half the women in the Philippines, they already have a problem with their own men, like they do in China and other places in Asia. Okay? But now, once they get enough feminism, you keep everybody wants to be like the Filipina Pea. And I'm not saying she's a feminist, I'm saying she's on her way there with this, breaking up with guys and, having a body count. Or maybe she's not sleeping with these guys. Maybe she's breaking up with these guys. Because that's the fastest way to break up with somebody today. Don't sleep with them. Like even women today, women actually don't trust men, okay, that don't practice. We're so into this everybody is screwing kind of thing, and it is like your ticket to pass go before getting on the board. You have to be a fornicator in order to pass go. And women believe this nonsense. Even women out of all species believe this nonsense. Okay? And so therefore, if you tell a woman that you don't want to have sex with her, on a second date or after being together for 2 weeks or something, she's going to look at you like, I remember a girl got mad at me. I said, wait a minute. You and I go to church together. We're Christians, right? Like, you and I are Christians. We don't do that. We're not allowed to do that. She's like, so, wait a minute. You're telling me that you're not going to have sex with a woman until you get married? I says, yeah, that's correct. And she was like, and all of a sudden she just disappeared, and next thing you know, I'm hearing from my friends and all like that, she said you got a problem with pussy, dude. She said you afraid of pussy. You must be gay. You must be this. You must be that. I'm thinking, whatever, man. I'm born again Christian, right? Okay. I don't do that. Now, it's funny. It is funny, and I'm telling you, this is totally away from the Filipina Pea's AMO, okay? She is asking women and men, well, mainly women. There's only one guy that was on here. The old fart that felt he needed to check her breast for metal, I think, this is where I lose lose my infatuation with her. But or maybe I call him a dick that needs to move to another country. But anyway, um, um, she is in here asking women, do they believe in sex before marriage? And the answer is, look at them. Of course they believe in sex before marriage. Look, all I see is boobs with a little bit of right here. Boobs with a little bit of pink stuff or red stuff hanging on and covering up the nipples. Of course she's a fornicator. And why is her pants unzipped or her skirt unzipped? You know, to make sure her belly button. You're like, give me a break. Give me a break. Of course she's a fornicator. Yeah, nobody. And maybe one woman, and it was one of them ones that were covered up. Maybe one woman said, well, maybe we shouldn't believe in fornication. But she's going around asking these women if they believe in fornication. And of course they're all going to say yes. That's why they're on the beach. Miss P. That's why they're on the beach. Wearing hardly nothing. Because they do believe in fornication. And if they didn't believe in fornication, they probably wouldn't be feminists. You see how it all goes together? It all goes together. It all goes together. Now, what is making her ask this question? Because she's never asked. I've watched over a dozen of her videos, going all the way back to when she started. She's never before in any video that I'm familiar with, except for the one where she was in the pool, with 4 or 5 of the women in her town, asking them how they like to do it in the bedroom. So that this is all over public television. This is all over YouTube. And all the men that are on the way to the Philippines, are coming to the Philippines with their zippers open because these women are saying, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm fine with oral sex. Oh, yeah. I want to please my man. You want to please your man that you're not married to. If I meet a woman and I'm thinking, I bet she's good at oral sex. I bet she really knows what she's doing. But I see her as marriage material. It could be 4 or 5 years before I marry this woman. That's 4 or 5 years I don't get to find out. Because we might want to work on some things before we get married. She might need to finish school. I might need to finish my job, and merge everything into business contracts or something before we get married. It could be up to 5 years before we get married. Okay? So, this is what I mean. Like, there's no reason to talk about sex on television unless it's to make you horny. Unless we're talking about soft porn. There's no reason. But she's on here asking women if they believe in fornication. And of course they all said yes, because only a Christian can understand why you wouldn't. Just like you can't even get a woman of all people to understand why she would keep her virginity today. And then you wonder why she can't. When you decided that you didn't need the right man to lose your virginity to. It's one thing if you go out there with the right attitude about love, sex, and marriage, and your husband walks out on you or divorces you, or you just can't get along and you end up divorcing, then I can understand why why you're not a virgin and not with someone at the same time. But now this girl right here, again, she's very stunning. She's even prettier than the Filipina Pea. Like, if I had to, they look good together. Like the 2 girls that went out together, and all the guys were afraid to say anything. Only the rich men got near them, and decided to try to rap to them or whatever. If they walk into a bar looking like that together, one of them beach bars or something like that, I think all the men in there would be like, Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can do it, man. Have confidence, man. I know you go. No, you go. No, you go. You know, none of us will go over there. I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna go over there, and she dropped a quarter on by her toe. I'm gonna go over there and pick that quarter up. Then she's probably gonna be thinking I'm trying to get fresh. She's gonna slap me, but if she slaps me, I'll take it as I'll take it as a compliment. At least she touched me, okay? She had to touch me in order to slap me, okay? So, you know, that's more than any coochie you guys gonna get tonight, you know? But I mean, you can even tell the way she's talking to her that she's thinking, man, this is the kind of girl that I would like to hang out with and go meet guys with. I mean, she's really stunning. She is stunning. It's very pretty. I mean, finally, the Filipina Pea has interviewed somebody that's just as pretty and as stunning as she is. I think her, however, she's a little bit built better and a little bit more stunning. And again, I'm surprised that she's Russian, if that's where she's from, because you can see the melanation in her skin. But then again, it might just be the fact that she spends so much time on the beach. She's just tanning very well. I don't know. She just looks... But you have to have a little bit of melanation in your skin. You know, you have to have a certain amount of melanation in your skin in order to tan very well, or you're just going to turn red. I know women who went to the beach and they came out as red as the devil off of vacation, you know. But, you know, if a woman gets on the beach and she tans pretty decently, the better she tans, that tells you that she has good melanin in her skin. Because and then this thing right here, like, okay, you can tell she ain't getting in the water. So what is she there for? Obviously, she probably dates white guys, and a lot of black guys can't even afford to be out there on that beach, okay? She dates white guys, and so she's figuring, you know, somewhere in between all these white friends of hers, she's going to be a delicacy, and some white dude's going to say, hey, baby, I've been watching you. I know what's going on. I know exactly what's going on, okay? But is she on here asking these women how they feel about fornication because of me? Because according to her ministry, yes, I said ministry, according to her gospel, and she also said that some of her subscribers are Christians and they don't believe. I went through her comment section. Nobody thinks that but me. She's talking about me. Like, do you have to be a Christian? Like I'm Catholic, but you know, even when she said that some of us are Catholic, but some Christians think that that's not good enough Christianity. Yeah, because Catholicism, Miss P, is not Christian. Catholicism is not Christian, and the more Christians and Catholics understand that, the better we'll all get along. It's not Christian. That's why you can be Catholic, okay, and go to the beach just to pose. You ain't getting in the water. You can be Catholic and go to the beach and meet a dude and go have sex with him. Why? Because you're Catholic. You're not really Christian. But if you're Christian, that means that you practice traditional, you know, culture between men and women. God made Adam first because Adam is going to do God's bidding. The Bible says the woman is the glory of man and man is the glory of God. Okay? So God isn't gay because God is turned on by what the man does. But he made the woman because he wired the man to want to be with women. And so when you go gay, and this is something she's very soft about, but I can understand because they will cancel you and kick you off of YouTube if you're not. You have to be soft, so I understand. But I'm not making any money off of YouTube, and I'm not monetized. So so I can say what I want to say, okay? If you, this is, the LGBTQ community would be okay if there was no God. The LGBTQ community would be okay if we had started off in the fallen state. But the fact that we have been in the better state to begin with, okay, then we understand. Now, there's a girl, again, she looks good in her bikini. I mean, you know, some of these girls, they look okay in their bikinis, they look naked, but she actually looks good in her bikini, even though she's got belly fat and all like that. But you can tell she got kids, or you can tell she eats enough. You can tell she was bigger than that and she lost weight. You know what I'm saying? She wanted to lose enough weight to look good in that bikini. You can tell. You know. And you can tell she's very, very, very kind of conceited about it. You know, and what she said to her in this interview right there, what she said to her, you need to watch this video and see, because she's also asking people what they feel about the passport bros and all like that. That will get you slapped. You need to be careful about that. I hope you have enough security. You're the girl that made the video that went viral, criticizing women for criticizing the passport bros, when some of these passport bros are white men and black men coming into the Philippines with their zippers down. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them. They're coming into the Philippines talking about they want to go out there and find that wonderful wife, and they want to find that life in the Philippines, but then they're coming back here to the States bragging about how much coochie they got. And that's going viral too. And a lot of these guys are going to the Philippines and they're getting scammed by these Filipinas that are supposed to be practicing traditionalism. They're supposed to be practicing submissiveness. They're going out there getting scammed and getting cheated on. They're going out there and coming home empty with no money. They got to work, they got to rev it back up. They got to work it back into completion to get any money. Okay? But one thing is true, and if I can remember the way I said it in the car, I'm closing. This is the problem with the way the Filipino women are thinking, and this is the problem how you know, you want to go over there and say, hey, have you ever been to the Philippines, and what do you think about feminism, and what do you think about men and blah 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 blah, and marriage and fornication? Listen, women in the Philippines look at a man, okay, as status. Women, modern women, look at a man as a object of their sexual desire, or an object of their own status. Okay? The only difference between the two is that women of the Philippines want to put on traditionalism as an act because they come from a culture that practices that, and it's taught to them. Okay, as Mike's Journey said, this is actually taught to them, and so is feminism taught to them. And so they do this to get the man, and you know, they have him there, and whatever happens, they win. I said it earlier. I knew when I did this video I was going to forget it, but I said it in a way earlier when I was doing the other video, and I deleted it because it was too long, and I had to keep going back and forth. But women, the bottom line is, women in the Philippines practice traditionalism as, you know, giving the man appeal and saying, oh, I'm going to do this to get my man, And that way I always have my man, I always have my status. Whereas modern women are learning how to be without men. Okay? And that's the only difference. It's not submissiveness. The men that, are in the Philippines now, like, my man Sunshine Shoulders and different ones, are now complaining about the whole traditional submissive thing. Because as they've been in the Philippines for a number of years and had several Filipinas, it's never just one. Biblically, it's supposed to be just one. But it's never just one. They've had several. And they're finding out that these women are not as non-feminist as they say they are. And they're finding out that they're not as traditional as they say they are. They're only traditional, okay, as far as getting you in their clutches, in their, getting you in their corner. Once they get you in their corner, then their other colors come out. Whereas modern women and women of America, okay, at least are being honest with you from the jump to where you understand that, oh, well, if you think that I'm going to come home with you and leave my state and come to your state and quit my job and take on a job that you're going to give me, or you think I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home wife and I'm going to clean the house and I'm going to be submissive and all this stuff, we can't get married, sir. We can't do this. It's not going to work. Whereas a Filipina will make you think that she'll do all that. But then what? Every time you turn around, she's not at home. Where is she? Oh, she's out there doing Instagram and TikTok with another foreigner. Okay? Because he's out there putting her on his channel. And then you wonder why foreigners are slapping each other in the face, or punching each other in the face, more likely, in the Philippines. Because of crap like that. Like, oh, you don't hook up with me and call yourself my woman, and then go out there and get on Sunshine's Shoulders or the Black Filipina, okay, and let him put you in his video in your bikini. Oh yeah, you're a very pretty lady. What do you think about this? Dude, she's already hooked up with me. Did she tell you that? We're already going together. She didn't bother to put that in the video. I love this video, but I have a love-hate relationship with it because this is, and Mike will probably call it soon, he'll probably call it the Filipina Pea Exposed. And trust me, P, I'm not on you like Mike is. I'm not on you like other knuckleheads on YouTube. I'm just saying, you don't need to exploit yourself. And you don't need to exploit the Philippines in order to have good video content. Let me say that again. Yes, you will make good money you will get more subscribers if you exploit yourself. But you don't need to exploit yourself or the Philippines or the women of the Philippines in order to do good video content. Yes, you might want to exploit yourself to make more money, and you might want to exploit yourself to get more subscribers because American men are perverts. And just because they come to the Philippines looking for a traditional woman, that doesn't make them non-perverts. They're still perverts. They left here with their zipper open. When they arrived in the Philippines, okay, they even put that zipper down more. Okay? Because of the stuff that you say on your channel about how easy it is. Then you want to say, oh, well, you're disrespecting the Filipinas, okay, if you come here with your zipper down and you come here horny and you're willing to jump into things and instead of thinking them over first. But you can't say both. You can't sit there and say, hey, what do you guys think about oral sex? I love to please my man. How soon do you think a man and a woman should start sleeping together? My answer is when they get married. But you said in the pool, sweetheart, in 2 videos, you said, oh, one woman said, oh, in a couple days. Another woman said 2 weeks. And you were like, oh, yeah, 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks is more than long. It's more than long enough. Okay. Look. I am DeRoy Cruz. I am your life applications officer. I am the original LG. Thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Talk to you soon with more.